Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm Olivia's Romantic Home, and in today's video I am so excited to share with you guys 20 DIY Dollar Tree spring and Easter decor crafts. So I love to share with you guys how you can make your home's boutique gorgeous on a budget, and I truly believe that y'all don't have to break the bank to have a fabulous, amazing home. So without further ado, let's go ahead and plug in those glue guns. Get out your glitter and paint, and let's get to crafting. For the first DIY, I want to share with you all how to create a super adorable jelly bean peep arrangement. So you're going to need 6 bags of little 98-cent jelly beans, a large cylinder vase. I found this one at Walmart, and then a smaller Dollar Tree vase to pop down inside of your larger vase. You're going to use 3 bags of your 98-cent speckled jelly bean eggs. You can also find these at Dollar Tree, I'm sure. And then I'm going to use these cute little pink peeps. Now the peeps came from Walmart and they're $1.28 for a pack, and I did use 2 packs for this entire project of the pink ones and then 2 packs of the yellow ones, and they were so perfect. They slid directly down into this cylinder vase without me even having to pull them apart. I was worried when I pulled them apart you'd be able to see like the little marshmallows, but they just slide directly down inside of there. Now there was a little bit of a gap back behind my peeps, and I knew I needed to fill in the next layer with more jelly beans, and I only had 3 more packs of jelly beans. So I came up with the idea to take some little mini marshmallows and kind of stuff those back behind my peeps. So in case that happens to you guys, there's a solution for that. Okay, so now I'm just going to add in my next 3 bags of jelly beans and then another layer of peeps. And how fun and fabulous is this, you guys? Oh my goodness, this is so perfect to do with kiddos or grandkids, and I was just so amazed with this. I don't know, I guess little things get me. But anyway, I went ahead and added that next layer of peeps, and then I just added in some pretty little fresh flowers. So here is how it looks after I get my whole vase done. So fun and easy to do. And then I trimmed off my flowers so they kind of dropped perfectly down into there. And these are just some little fresh wildflowers from Walmart. They sell them like $4 a bundle, and I used 2 bundles to fill up the Dollar Tree vase. Now, hindsight 2020, it probably would have been a better idea to have used fake wildflowers, but I'm already running low on some of my fake flowers and I just wasn't thinking about it. But now I'm wondering how I'm going to change the water out to put new flowers in. So comment down below if you guys have a good idea on how I'm going to be able to change that water out without disturbing my peeps vase. I'm thinking maybe I could use a shop vac. Would that be weird to do? Anyway, comment down below. I'll be interested to see what you guys say. So here is how it turned out though. So adorable and springtime fabulous. And again, just such an easy, fun little DIY. I have been wanting to try this forever, and I was so excited to finally have the opportunity and that it actually worked fairly easily. So again, the larger vase was from Walmart, and that smaller one that dropped down into it was from Dollar Tree. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take 6 of those foam eggs, and the Dollar Tree foam eggs come 6 to a pack. And then I'm going to take this beautiful Mackenzie Childs napkin, and I'm going to create some really unique, beautiful eggs. So I'm going to take some Mod Podge and add a layer of Mod Podge to my foam egg. And then I'm going to take the napkin and overlay it onto the egg. Now, I did not pull the napkin apart from the white inner layer of the napkin. So a napkin usually has an inner layer on the back of it and then the pretty part on the front. I feel like it leaves more of the little flower napkin available to view in its original color if I leave that white part on. I hope that makes sense what I'm trying to explain. But I do have to add a little bit more Mod Podge to it, so it kind of makes it maybe a little bit more wrinkly, but in my opinion, it's worth it to keep those vibrant colors. So I just got 1 layer done, and then I'm cutting out the next layer. Now, a good little trick too is to wash your hands in between, like as you're adding things on. That way the glue from your fingers doesn't pull up the other side of your napkin. That's just a little tip. I know somebody said that they were having a hard time with one of their projects because the napkin was pulling up. If you try to keep your hands without glue on them, which is kind of hard to do when you're Mod Podging a small project like that, but maybe that will be a little tip to help you. So again, you want to lay down a layer of Mod Podge underneath your napkin, and then I add a generous layer on top of it. It does make it to where though they need to dry for quite some time, so it took several hours for these little cuties to dry. Now I'm going to use another Mackenzie Childs napkin, and that floral napkin was from Mackenzie Childs as well, but this one I'm going to do a check one. So I'm just using the black and white check napkin, and again, I did buy the napkins off the Mackenzie Childs website, but I will tell you that a pack of their napkins has lasted me an entire year worth of projects. All the DIYs I've shared with you guys, I've used that same old pack of napkins. So just to let you guys know about that, they're really fun to craft with. But you guys can also find pretty napkins at Dollar Tree, Tuesday Morning, TJ Maxx, Target, Walmart has some beautiful napkins. So just keep your eye out, find something you love, and go for it. And again, I'm doing the same process here, except for I did not cut the napkin apart. I'm just laying it down in one huge layer because I do have a bunch more eggs to do, and I wanted to get this show on the road. Now, it did make it a little bit lumpy in the back part, but it wasn't too bad, and I'm just going to pop it into a floral anyway, so I was okay with that. But if you want to get particular and cut it out, you can do that as well. So whatever works and whatever you decide to do. Now here it is, popped into my cute little Easter display, and I was so crushing on it. Oh my goodness, and I cannot wait to share with you guys a step-by-step tutorial on how to put together this entire Easter display. Oh my goodness, so much blooming fun for spring. Now for the next DIY, I want to share with you guys a super creative and fun way to use these Dollar Tree paper butterflies. So they come in a huge pack, and I buy them and I never quite know what to do with them. But here's a fun thing you can do. You can take a mini clothespin and hot glue that mini clothespin to the back of your butterfly. And they may even stick with just Elmer's glue. I'm just thinking about that now. If you were trying to do this with kids and you didn't want to use hot glue, but they may need some drying time. Anyway, I like the instant results of hot glue, but I decided to go a little bit extra and add some bling to the wings of my butterfly, which I thought was so fun and fabulous. So Dollar Tree sells these beautiful bling jewels, and they come on an adhesive pack. And so all you have to do is cut the jewels apart, and you can make them fit the size of your project, which is really nice as well. And the adhesive works really well on paper. I did these on glass pumpkins during fall, and my adhesive on some parts didn't quite go as well as planned, so I had to use extra glue. When you're putting them on paper, I haven't found a problem with them pulling up, so no big deal there. And then I really blinged out my larger butterflies, and then with the smaller butterflies, I just did one strand of bling jewels. The other thing that you guys can do is take some of these butterflies and glue them on top of each other. So the smaller ones glue on top of the larger butterfly. I did that with a couple of mine, and it's going to give it almost like a 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional effect, depending on how many butterflies you glue on there. So that's just another little fun tip. But have fun with it, get creative, get that bling out, and make some beautiful butterflies. And these are going to pop perfectly into my spring display. So here is how my butterflies turned out, and then I just popped the clothespin open and they're ready to pop into a beautiful display. And then there's those pretty eggs that we just made with a little decoupage on them, and I just thought that they really brought this display to life. They made it very artistic and creative. And then there's one of my little two-dimensional butterflies, so you can see that the wings were kind of popped out. So here's kind of like a little bit of an overview. I love the added effects of the butterflies. I don't think I've ever used butterflies in one of my displays before, but my daughter was really loving it as well. So if you have kiddos, add some of those little whimsical touches. It will really catch their eye and bring a smile to their face. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with you guys how to make a super cute, super easy little Dollar Tree popsicle stick cross. So you're going to take 3 popsicle sticks and then hot glue 2 of the popsicle sticks together to make the long part of your wooden cross, and then let that dry for just a sec or two. And then once that's dry, you can pop another dab of hot glue onto the top part of it and create the cross part. Now, if you're doing this with kiddos, help them with the hot glue part, but you guys could also use Elmer's glue and then just give it some drying time. And then the next step is to get creative and personalize your cross. Paint it or add some jewels to the center to it, or, you know, a little saying, whatever it is you want to add to your cross. I knew that I wanted to paint mine and pop mine into my bunny basket right next to my mantle. And so I'm painting mine with some white chalk paint, and the chalk paint, I only needed to use 1 layer and it absorbed really nicely and looked just fine. You could also wood stain this with like a little bit of, you know, wood rub or a wood stain, and that would be really nice as well. So personalize it to suit your fancy and to match into your decor. And I will tell you that I did paint both sides of my cross. You could also double up with the popsicle sticks and make it a little bit thicker if you wanted to. That was an idea that just popped into my head as I was thinking about this. So have fun with it and get creative. Again, this would be a great project for kiddos or all ages. I love finding projects that everybody can do together and that are really inexpensive and budget friendly. So this was a fun, easy cross, and you guys can really personalize it and make it your own. And then once I had painted my cross and then I let it dry for a bit, I decided to dig through my jewel stash and find a pretty bling jewel to go into the center of it. And I wanted to make it really special. You could also make it a memory cross and do like your loved one's brooch or a pretty jewel piece, but I'm just going to add a dab of hot glue to either side of my bling jewel. And this is a bling jewel from totallydazzled.com. You guys, I love Natalie. She is such a sweetie pie. She's a small business and I love supporting small businesses, so check her out. I'll leave the link in the description box below for you. But here is how it turned out. I thought it was so pretty and magical and just beautiful, and then I popped it into my little Easter bunny basket. I just felt like that was just the perfect addition to show my faith and to really make it dazzling and beautiful. And for my little bunny to be carrying that, and I think it really shows in with the display as well. So here it is popped in to my display. Now for the next DIY, I want to share with you guys how to take one of those Dollar Tree big giant oversized Easter egg signs, and the sign is really cute as is, but I did buy a couple of extra to make some crafts with. I wanted to make a black and white check Mackenzie style child's style inspired sign. So I'm just chalk painting it front and back white, and I believe I did chalk paint the front twice to get really nice good coverage over those letters. And then the next step, of course, will be to paint some checks on here. So if you guys have not tried painting checks, I'm going to tell you it's really relaxing, especially if you relax and give yourself some grace. So I'm just taking this ruler and I'm drawing some black lines, but I will tell you, I probably should have drawn my lines a little bit thicker. It gets a little bit more tedious if you have a lot of checks to paint, but I did have some time on my hands, so no biggie there. So I'm just drawing my horizontal lines, and you could also use painter's tape to space this out as well. I've done that before too. And then now I'm drawing my little vertical lines, and I do like to start out in the center of my project. And then I'm taking this black Sharpie and I'm marking an X for where I need to paint. Now I don't suggest actually doing that because I could kind of see the X showing through some of my paint. So it maybe kind of had to add extra paint. But if you have a tendency to jump the pattern, which I also do sometimes as well, it's not a bad idea. So I guess you could just kind of make like a little dot might be better than the big X. But now I'm just going to take my paintbrush, which I do like to buy a paintbrush about the size of my Chex. And this paintbrush I love. I think I bought it at Walmart. But I just lay down a layer of black paint. And I do like to drag my brush in with a little bit of white paint to kind of give it some dimension as well. So now that I have my black Chex painted, I like to go in with a little bit of white and gold paint on my brush. I don't wash my brush, I leave it with the black paint on there, and then I just drag that white and gold paint through my black check. Now if you study the Mackenzie Childs patterns, their artists are all doing hand painted black and white checks as well, and so you can see little imperfections in the work. And so really this doesn't have to be a perfect project. You want to see some imperfections and you want to see some of the paint lines. Also, I noticed that they use like a cream color, so you may want to use a cream color as your base instead of the bright white, but have fun with it, get creative and paint some pretty checks, and then get creative with it again and drag your brush through some white and gold paint just to give it kind of some dimension. Now this step is extra, you can just do black and white checks too. But whatever floats your boat and whatever suits your fancy. And again, this is a fun project and I want to encourage you guys, it's only a $1 sign, so not much to be lost if you feel like you messed up, and that's what white paint is for, any of your mess ups. So here is popped into my little display, so fun and fabulous, and a nice little accent against some of the pastel. Now for the next DIY, I want to share with you guys how to create a super adorable bunny. So this is just one of those Dollar Tree plastic bunnies, and they come actually where you can kind of pull them apart, so you can actually have two bunnies, and they're fun to play with. I'm just going to lay down a layer of white chalk paint to start out with, and that's going to be my base color. I do love using chalk paint. A lot of you will ask me about that. It's because it dries fairly quickly, and it also will adhere to a plastic surface or a surface that's maybe kind of rough, and so that helps as well. So for my bunny, I decided to do a Mackenzie Childs inspired bunny. I have been drooling over their beautiful bunnies in their catalog. If you guys sign up for their catalogs, they'll send them to you for free if you just use your email. So I decided to draw black and white striped checks down my black and white stripes down my bunny, but I felt like my stripes were a little wobbly, so I decided to make it into some checks and to do some black and white check bunnies. Black and white checks on my bunny. Anyway, so I'm taking my paintbrush and I'm just going to begin to paint every other square black and then leaving the other square white. And then I like to go back in and drag my brush through the white and gold paint and layer that over the black. That's how I paint my checks, and I think it turns out pretty cute. So anyway, just have fun with it and get creative. Now you're going to be able to tell that This is a little bit more of a challenge to do checks on a curved project rather than a flat project, but I wanted to share with you guys, there's that Mackenzie Childs little catalog, and they do come free in the mail if you sign up with your email. If you guys want to do that. I just love getting them in the mail for every season. They're really beautiful. They're almost like a little magazine to me. But their bunnies on there, they did the whole bunny in black and white checks. So I end up doing that with this bunny, but it comes out pretty cute in the end. Anyway, have fun with it. Paint some checks on your little Dollar Tree plastic bunny. Again, it's only $1 bunny. If you guys mess up, just use a little white paint over it. It's not too super big of a deal. So I did decide to go in and paint my entire bunny with black and white checks on its face. Now, I'm not sure that was the best idea, but I think it ended up turning out pretty cute. But the black and white checks do kind of like make the face a little bit funky, but I do go back in and paint a nose and some eyes to kind of offset a little bit of that. So I'm painting my little checks here, and then I made like little striped edges on my ears. And then for my ears too, I do go back in and use some pink paint. Now, after I get all of my black checks painted, I go back in and usually mix in a little bit of white and gold and drag that through my black checks. But now I'm just painting my cute little pink nose and pink ears with some acrylic pink paint. And then I did give my bunny some blue eyes originally, but I kind of obsessed over the eyes. They were pretty tricky to do, and so my eyes ended up turning gray. Anyway, I like to go in with a Deco Art premium paint pen. I buy these off of Amazon. I'll link some in my store, but I also get them at Michael's some too. You can use your coupon. They're really a nice paint pen, but Dollar Tree also carries a pretty nice little gold paint pen as well. So I went all the way around my bunny to make him super fancy and glammed up and bling with his gold, fanciness. And then there's me still trying to get those eyes right. Okay, so I added a pink bow, a little satin bow to the center of his neck, and then a beautiful bling jewel. You guys know me, I love my bling. I just think it adds a lot of really sparkle and shine. I just loved a nice bit of sparkle and shine. And here's how those packs of bling jewels come. I'll leave a link in my description box for the bling jewels. Natalie is amazing if you want to support a small business. Now for the next DIY, I thought it would be fun to mix things up a little bit and share a treat with you guys. This is a fun little Easter snack treat. It's a sugary treat, so beware. It's what they call Easter Bunny Chex Mix. So we're going to take 1 cup of chocolate chips, put that in a microwave safe bowl, half a stick of butter, pop that into your bowl as well, and then half a cup of peanut butter. Okay, this is going to be so delicious, you guys. I can't even tell you, it's so addictive. But again, it is a very sweet treat, so beware, only for treat's sake. Okay, the next thing I want to use is a teaspoonful of vanilla extract, and then I'm going to mix that entire mixture together. Okay, you also want to pop your little peanut butter chocolate chip mixture into your microwave for a minute. It's going to go in there for a minute long. Okay, then you're going to stir everything up here, give it a nice little stirry stir, and I did switch to a whisk because I really felt like my chocolate needed to be nice and stirred in there. Now, in a larger bowl, you're going to have all of your Chex mix, but use a super large bowl. I made the mistake of not using a large enough bowl. You're going to need to stir. They suggested on the recipe to use a covered bowl and then just shake it up, but I don't have a covered bowl, so I'm doing my best here. Okay, so I'm adding the little chocolate drizzle, yummy goodness over the top of it, but you're going to want to kind of coat your Chex Mix to the best of your ability, depending upon the size of bowl and your ability to really get it mixed in, which I was pretty determined. I ended up transferring it to my big pasta pot. So if you don't have a big pot, use your big pasta pan. That will work as well. So anyway, this is just for me and my family, so no biggie there. Now I'm popping it into my big pasta pot, and I'm going to give it another little mixy. Try not to mix too hard because I didn't want to break up the Chex Mix too much. And then the next step to this is going to be adding your powdered sugar. It called for 2 cups of powdered sugar, which I felt like was a little bit too much. I would probably dial it back to maybe 1.5 cups, but this is the first time I've ever made this, so bear with me. I'm doing my best here, guys. Now I gave it another good shaky, mixy, and then I popped it back into my original little bowl there because that was the cute bowl, and I wanted to make it cute for when my fam bam came home. Okay, the next step is to add in some little fun goodies. So I just used some colorful Easter M&Ms. I found these at Walmart, and then also some sprinkles I found at Walmart. They're like $1.48 in the Easter section. So it made it really fun and festive, and this would be a great little snack to have like at a party. It's a really sugary snack, you guys. So only for treats only. I'm going to share a healthy snack next, I promise. Okay, but you can pop it into some little cute cupcakes or these little plaid little holders. I found those at Walmart for 99 cents. Okay, so for the next DIY, I want to share with you guys how to make a healthy Easter treat. So we made a super sugary treat in the last one, but now we're going to make a healthy one. You're going to take a little cookie cutter that's Easter related. I found these cookie cutters at Walmart for $1.48 for a 2-pack with the Easter head and the carrot, and you're just going to slice a watermelon and then cookie cut your watermelon. Super easy. Now I will tell you, this first watermelon I tried, I cut a little bit too thick, so I did kind of have to do some maneuvering. So if you're having a kiddo help you do this, just make sure that you're helping them, because the cookie cutter can be a little bit, sharp on one side, and you do kind of have to press it down just a bit. So I was able to get 1 bunny head and then 2 little carrots. Now this was the only size watermelon I could find at my Walmart, and so it was kind of small, but I was able to make some of them. And I will tell you that my daughter, when she came home, she was so excited for these treats, you guys. So if you have time to do some fun little Easter treats, these were really fun, and I will tell you they were really easy to do, honestly. I am not like a master chef in the kitchen by any means, so I like finding fun Easter treats, things that I can actually do. Oh, and these cute little bunny plates are the Pioneer Woman bunny plates, and they're so beautiful. They are paper, but oh my goodness, they're so beautiful, and they're on an end cap. They were kind of hidden away at my Walmart. They weren't in like the regular section, so I did a couple more of these. And again, this is a healthy snack idea, and you guys could, maybe served it with like some other little fruit mixed in with it. Once I got done, I was like, oh, I need some more fruit to pop into here. So I just popped in some little strawberries for when my daughter got home, and she could have like some little strawberries and some watermelon. And then that was a healthy treat to kind of offset the sugary bunny snack that we made. But boy, that bunny snack is delicious. Okay, so again, just making some more cute little carrot guys here. And this was easier to do with the thinner sliced watermelon. So the thinner you slice it, the easier it is to press that in. Just a little side note, if you're trying to do this with kiddos and you don't want it to make like a huge mess and for it to be hard. So here is how it turned out. So fun and fabulous. And again, those little cute little striped cups were from Walmart, and they came in like a pack for 98 cents. So I thought that was like a fun little splurge to kind of make it look a little bit more festive and Easter fun. And there's my loyal assistant, my trusty creative director, Benji Bear. He is in the studio working his magic as always, and he wants to say hi to you guys. So for the next DIY, we're going to create a beautiful mantle display on my mantle here, and I'm going to make a pretty little floral by using 2 pieces of greenery. So really just any greenery will do, and I did find this at Hobby Lobby, and they have their greenery 50% off, so that made it a little bit more price friendly. But I am going to give it a nice good fluffing here, and so I'm going to add 1 greenery to one side and then 1 greenery to the other. And you can see Benji Bear is directing the scene. He's going to tell me where to put these flowers, how much fluffing to do, how many bows we need. Really, he likes to bark at the TV. He loves watching TV, and he really likes when he sees birds come on. So anyway, I'm going to take now and really dress this mantle up by adding in some pretty little flowers. So these are just flowers that I've kind of been collecting along the way that have some pretty spring colors. I got some of them at Dollar Tree, some of them at Walmart, and then a couple of them were from Michael's clearance section. I shared with you guys my after clearance finds at Michael's. They had pretty white and pink flowers. They had a little bit of glitter and frost on them, but they were Christmas flowers. So anyway, always check your after Christmas florals. You can get such a good deal on them, and a lot of times you'll be able to reuse them for the next season. So they had them on Christmas because they had they frosted and sparkle on them. Here's one of those roses, but to me they were gorgeous. So anyway, I also added some Dollar Tree wisteria to either side of my little mantle garland display here, and I'm just continuing to pop more flowers in. And again, these are just flowers that I've been kind of collecting that have some springtime colors to them. And there's that pretty Dollar Tree wisteria. I was so excited and impressed with how that looked this year. So anyway, I'm popping the wisteria in to kind of drape down the side, and then just some pretty roses in. And there's that bird. Benji Bears goes crazy with the birds. He likes to sit in the window and watch the birds or watch them on TV. And so this is on my TV. It's just playing. If you type into your YouTube search bar, just type in spring music, and you'll have like a 2 to 3 hour loop of beautiful spring music, and it'll have like pretty scenes that are for spring. I did that for Valentine's Day. I shared with you guys as well. Now I'm popping in some of those little Dollar Tree, like little yellow and pink little glitter balls that I had they come like in like a 4 or 5 pack on a stem. And I'm also popping in some of those pretty little checkered Hobby Lobby. These are kind of like an oversized, larger egg, and I'm just tying them on to my flowers. Now, for the next DIY, I want to share with you guys how to jazz up those Target Dollar Spot carrots. So I shared with you guys in my last video that Target has these little fabric carrots for $1, which I thought that was a great deal. I made fabric carrots of my own, but these were already pre-made and so beautiful. I can just add them into the ones I already have, but I decided to make a beautiful bow using my Easy Bow Maker, and this is about a 3-inch bow on either side if you're using your Easy Bow Maker, and I added about 3 to 4 loops. So basically I'm just making a really big beautiful bow to go on top of my carrot, so we're making a fabulous blooming carrot. I'm going to tie this bow off with a little pipe cleaner and then tie that on to my carrot, but I don't want to see the pipe cleaner, so I ended up taking some Dollar Tree pink ribbon and tying that over the pipe cleaner. That also helped secure my big bow on top of that. You could also make an Olivia bow too, just for reference. That's my little bow that I share with you guys how to make that requires no tools. So sometimes I like to get lazy and use my Easy Bow Maker, and then sometimes I like to make the Olivia bow. It just depends on how much work I've been doing and how tired my little hands are. So I'm giving my carrot a nice good fluffing, and then don't forget to dovetail your ends on your ribbon, and that's going to give you a nice little boutique finish. I think these are so beautiful, and I think that they would be so fun to make using an even larger oversized carrot. But now I'm going in with some pink ribbon, and this is just some Valentine's Day ribbon that I had left over. So really have fun with it, get creative, and use the ribbon that you might already have, or use some pretty ribbon that you find out and about. I know that everybody's been kind of having a little bit of a hard time finding Easter ribbon this year. I found some of mine at Hobby Lobby, and I also found some at Walmart. So just have fun with it and go for it and get creative. Make a pretty little bow for the top of your carrot, and it just really jazzed it up. I was so excited for how pretty these came out. I'm going to make some more for my dining room, but they are a little bit time consuming, but so fun in the end. Now I decided at the last minute to take some of this black and white check ribbon from the Dollar Tree and tie it onto my carrot. I just made a quick little shoelace bow and I doubled up my ribbon. So if you follow me, I like to tie like a little bow like you'd be tying a shoelace. And if you take and you double up the ribbon, that will help as well. And I will leave my bow video down below for you guys as well. So you give it a nice little good fluffing, and to hang these, you can just take a satin ribbon and loop it through one of the tops of your larger ribbons, so that way your carrot will hang evenly down. I was trying to figure out in my mind how to make sure that my carrot wasn't tilted backwards, so that's the best way to do it. Just loop it through one of the top loops of your bow, and then I tied it directly on to my little mantle piece. And then again, I decided to add it into some of my other carrots. I really like the way that the black and white check looks popped in against the pastels. So I thought that was just like a fun little dimension, but you guys could just use any ribbon and whatever colors you love for your displays. Now for the next DIY, I want to share with you guys how to make an oversized bow for your mantle or your garlands or your wreaths or whatever. So I'm going to use my easy bow maker, and I'm going to start out with this black and white check ribbon, and I'm going to go side to side in about an 8-inch loop, and then you're going to trim that first ribbon off. The next layer, I'm going to use a polka dot pastel ribbon, and I did get these ribbons from Hobby Lobby. I did splurge a little bit on these ribbons because they are going to be like my main wow factor in this garland, and so I wanted them to be a certain particular look and also a certain color. And so I also love this little yellow ribbon. So anyway, you're going to go about 8 inches, and then I went 7 inches on my pink ribbon, and then on this black and white check ribbon I went 6 inches, and then I just kind of made it a little bit smaller as I went along. That way each layer could kind of show through. And I love the easy bow maker because you can stack a really big bow without having to hold it in your hands. But you can also make a really big beautiful Olivia bow if you guys have seen that as well. So whatever floats your boat. With these layered ones, though, I do like to use my easy bow maker. So this is going to give me a lot of dimension in with my display, and it's going to help me pull all of my colors together as well. Now I'm tying it off with a little pipe cleaner, and I'm going to tie it on to the end of my mantle where the garland part is. And then the next step is to give your bows a good fluffing. So I like to buy ribbon that has wire in it, and that way you can really fluff up your bows. So the next thing I want to do is add some of my little grass to the front part of my little mantle here. So Hobby Lobby has these squares of grass, and they're $4.99, but all of their spring stuff is 40% off. So you're going to automatically get 40% off of any Easter or spring goodies. Now the next thing I'm adding in is my little basket that I made 2 seasons back, and I've shared that with you guys on another DIY video. I'm adding in my bunny, and then my cute little black and white check egg, and then just some pretty florals and greenery around it. Now I do change this up just a little bit because I end up using that one of these baskets over in my dining room. But here's another little nest that I made. That's one of my chicken of the sea nests. So you just take like a little tuna can or chicken of the sea can, and you just add a bunch of greenery around it until you make it into the shape of a nest. And then here's another one of my Dollar Tree DIY bunny baskets, and you guys, you can really make pretty baskets with moss and little Dollar Tree Easter baskets. So I decided to take one of these Dollar General baskets and tilt it sideways and make it look like it's like a tilted sideways blooming basket. It also is doing double duty and concealing our router that goes to our television back behind that one basket. So I did need it to be kind of big there. And then I just added another little basket. I had this from last season from Dollar General, and I tilted that one sideways as well. These are different sizes, but I think it's okay to kind of offset things just a little bit and make them different sizes. So here is how it came out. My entire mantle display. I have my cute little gnome I popped in there, and then my pretty little smaller gnome that we made using a Dollar Tree little Easter bunny. I've seen so many of you guys make so many cute DIYs with that Easter bunny, and a little basket I picked up from the thrift store, my little Target dollar spot bunny pillow. And then I just think it's blooming and ready for spring and Easter. And so I hope you guys get so much inspiration off of this and just some happy feel-good vibes. Now let me know what I should do with my pink tree over there. That was my trash to treasure project. It was headed for the dumpster and I painted it pink, my little ficus tree over there. I decorated it up for Valentine's Day, but I haven't figured out quite yet what I want to do for Easter, and I did so many DIYs in this video I just wasn't able to get to it, but I hope it gives you guys some inspiration. Now, I do have a $100 Hobby Lobby gift card that I am giving away. And so I have been leaving like little secret questions for you guys all throughout this video. And I'm going to announce the winner next Saturday. So I'm super excited to share that with you guys. But the secret question for you is, what is your favorite spring character, or like just spring goodness? So when you think of spring, what do you think of? Is it like a bunny? Is it a butterfly? Like, what is your favorite little spring animal or character that you like to use in some of your displays? I really love to use bunnies. We have a lot of bunnies where I live, so we do see them in springtime. We also have butterflies, so I was inspired to use butterflies. But I would love to hear what your favorite little spring character is, or just spring animal that you love to see that gives you that little pop of spring. Of course, my absolute favorite spring character is my puppy dog Benji Bear, but the little bunnies and little birds and butterflies, they just really scream spring to me and just bring a smile to my face. So I'm interested to see what you guys comment and what really brings spring into your heart. I feel like spring is such a wonderful time for hope and love and joy, and we have so much to be thankful for every day that we pop out of bed and our eyes open and we're blessed with another day. So I just want to give you guys that and encourage you all. I am going to share a quick little recipe with you guys at the end of this video as well, so stay with me here. I know this was kind of an extra long video, but I feel like I just really wanted to give you guys so much inspiration and goodness and springtime Easter vibes. Okay, so I want to share with you guys one of my favorite things to do is to pick up one of those Caesar salad pack kits from Walmart. They are so delicious. I like to jazz mine up and add in some tomatoes and a little bit of onion, just to really kind of soup it up, and also some olives. And then I like to add in a little bit of Olive Garden dressing, and then I add in the dressing Caesar salad packet that it comes with. I then add in the croutons and some pepper and a little bit of salt, and I give it a really good mixy. So this was a family size and it fed all of us really nicely. I also did make some quick and easy chicken alfredo to go with it. And so I thought this would give you guys an idea for maybe something to do for dinner. So for my alfredo sauce, I usually use about 4 to 5 tablespoons of butter and then about a cup of heavy whipping cream. So I also just kind of eyeball it, so I really need to measure it out for you guys a little bit better, but I just thought it would give you guys an idea. But you're going to want to take and heat up your butter until it's really bubbling, and then you want to heat up your heavy whipping cream until it's bubbling. So once it's bubbling like this, like it's going to be really nice and bubbling, but you have to keep whisking it. That's one of the keys to making a good alfredo. Then you're going to take some Parmesan cheese, and again, I just eyeball it, but I will say it's probably about half a cup at least. And while it's really nice and hot, you guys can see I have my temperature turned up really hot, like medium high. You're going to want to stir in that cheese and give it a good nice bubble. So Once it gets kind of stirred in there and that cheese gets in and I can feel it start to thicken, I will pull it off the heat because you don't want to burn it. And I am a cook that loves to do a little bit of taste testing. So to be honest with you, I do kind of taste test along the way. That way I know the consistency and also the taste. And plus it's just so darn delicious. So anyway, I add in a little bit of garlic salt. And you can see it still bubbling, but I have completely turned my burner off. So just continue to kind of give it a little bit of a mixy. And then I usually don't add my chicken directly into here, but I thought I'd just make it quick and easy for my fam bam. When they come home, they can just scoop it right out. And then I add it in with noodles and all of that fun stuff. So here it is, how it turned out. So fun and easy and pretty budget friendly as well. Okay guys, so here is my thrift store outfit of the day. I found this really pretty kind of romantic top at my local thrift store. It probably needs to be ironed. And then I found this super cute, just kind of, it's just like, like a, overlay top. But it has this really pretty detail in the back, excuse me. And so it just like is kind of like a nice overlay if you don't want your arms to be shown. Now, if it was summer, I'd probably kick this off. And then I just have these really pretty little earrings. My local thrift store has gotten donations from a local boutique. So I have it paired with my Sofia Vergara jeans from Walmart. I don't have any shoes on because I'm getting ready to put on like my actual tennis shoes to be doing my decorating video. I cannot decorate in boots. I have neuropathy in my feet, so it's just a mom thing. But these would look super adorable with my little thrift store boots. In fact, actually, I will grab them and show them to you, just so we get kind of more of an idea. So like here, I would put, of course I would put socks on. Okay, and so I would just pair this with some little boots. I actually found these at the thrift store, believe it or not. We have some really Goodwills in my area, but we also drive like an hour north to get to some more larger thrift stores. So there you guys have it, my little thrift store outfit of the day. I just have the romantic flowy top, super comfy, and then just like a little nice coverage shirt. So the older I get, the more I like to have, just something that's going to kind of cover. And I even wear these like with tennis shoes and stuff. So, and just my little romantic. For the first Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to share with you how to make a super beautiful, easy, blooming springtime set of plates. Okay, so from the Dollar Tree, you're going to go into their party section and pick up a pack of the white plates with the silver round circle on it, and those are going to come in a 4-pack. Then the next thing that you want to pick up is a smaller plate, and I went ahead and went with this beautiful, it's kind of like a coralish pink spring color, and I believe these came in a 6-pack. I'm just going to hot glue them directly onto the center of the silver plate. The next thing I want to do is take some of these really beautiful springtime blooming kind of aqua colored coasters from the Dollar Tree, and you just want to add a touch of hot glue to the center part and maybe even a couple of the petals. Honestly, that step is optional. These are going to be used for display purposes only. So I'm going to pop them into my pretty little cabinet. So I wanted to make several of these, and then I'm just taking my little towel and I'm gently wiping on the outside of it where any kind of the hot glue or stickiness had gotten to the plates. So I'm going to repeat those steps on the next one. Again, just hot gluing the smaller plate to the center of the larger plate and then adding in that pretty little coaster. So this was such a fun and easy craft, you guys, and it makes such a huge impact and statement. I had posted a sneak peek of this on my Facebook page and also my YouTube, and so many of y'all were commenting, getting so excited about this DIY. I decided to put it first in the video. Number one, it's super easy to make, and what a fun way to add a pop of color. So basically you can spend $3 and you'll have 4 brand new beautiful little decor plates. And these are really great for cabinets, for decorating on walls with just, some plate holders. You guys can pick up plate holders at any craft store, really. I'm not sure if I've seen like the wall plate holders at Dollar Tree, but I've also shared with you guys a DIY on how to take and use a pipe cleaner on the back of your plate, and then you can hot glue that pipe cleaner to the back of your plate and then use that to hang it to the wall. So I'll try to share that with you guys in an upcoming video. There's a couple other steps that you need to do. Now, these are plastic plates, so anyway, but the sky is the limit with this, you guys. You could add them to the top of some cabinets. There's so many ways you can decorate with this, and the little floral coasters do come in other colors as well as these pretty coral plates. So have fun with it, get creative, choose the comfort colors that you love, whether it be purples or pinks or blues or yellows, whatever you love for spring. Grab those colors, make a beautiful plate, jazz up your room on a budget. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with you all how to make some beautiful indoor flowers for an indoor flower garden, and these are going to be super whimsical and beautiful. You'll need some shish kebab sticks, a couple of paper straws, some little Dollar Tree plastic plates, and some Dollar Tree coasters. So I'm going to take the little paper straw and run it down the shish kebab stick and then just gently hot glue it to the top part of the shish kebab stick, and then you'll have one part of the shish kebab stick still needing to be covered, and then I'm just going to add another little dibble dabble of hot glue here. This is going to give me an extra long kind of stem for my flower. Also, if I wanted to trim it off to where that shish kebab stick was pointy, I could use that and pop that into some floral foam inside of an indoor real houseplant. And then I'm just going to hot glue my little paper straw to the back of my little plastic plate. So these plastic plates are at Dollar Tree right now in the spring section, and I believe they're 5 to 6 to a pack. So you can make 5 to 6 of these flowers, and check out how many of the straws. I was so excited to find these, you guys. They have some really beautiful paper goods right now. And really, if you love these pastel comfort colors, this is the time to buy when everything is just naturally going to be in these spring pretty colors. The next thing I want to do is add one of those pretty little Dollar Tree aqua coasters to the center of my plate, and that's going to create my really beautiful flower. These are so fun to use. They would make such a great little decor accent in a little girl's room. They would make a beautiful decor accent in your dining room, popped into like some pretty vintage vases. I also think these colors are like really vintage chic. Now I'm going to do a purple one, and I'm going to do exactly how I did the last one. Again, just covering the little shish kebab stick with the paper straw and then hot gluing it together. Now I did try to use one of the Dollar Tree wooden dowels to do this, but the wooden dowel was too large to cover the paper plate with. But you could use a wooden dowel if that's what you have in your craft stash. Use a wooden dowel and then just take some pretty ribbon and kind of wind that around the dowel. That's just an idea if you guys maybe already have the wooden dowel in your craft stash and you don't have the paper straws. You can also find paper straws in Walmart in the party section, and I believe they're like $1 a pack. So anyway, have fun with it and get creative and make some beautiful blooming flowers. These little plastic plates came in some other colors, I believe purples and aquas, and I loved this kind of corally pink color. I just love these soft pastels. They're so comforting to me, and they just seem so happy and springy. I also added some of those Dollar Tree little paper butterflies to the edges of my plate, and those come in a big pack in the Crafters Square section. But there's a ton of those in there. You could also just use some pretty little butterfly stickers. So really have fun with it and get creative. Make a beautiful, whimsical indoor flower garden. Now, I wouldn't suggest that you put the paper outside in the sun. So you'd want to do this a little bit different if you're going to put these outside. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with you guys how to make a super adorable little Dollar Tree ladder. And I'm using three total of the Dollar Tree plungers, and I just removed the bottom part of the plunger, and then I removed the sticky part of the plunger with a hair dryer. So you can set your hair dryer to high heat and heat up that sticker, and it will come off really easy. And then you can just take a bit of sandpaper and kind of sandpaper it a little bit more smooth. Now I'm taking my third plunger and I'm just going to cut the little plunger kind of in half, but I also cut like the little part off where the plunger had been attached. Now I'm just taking some hot glue and I'm going to hot glue my little wooden sticks to my plunger. You guys could also make this with paint sticks if you have those on hand, or you could even use popsicle sticks. I was going to do that until I got the idea to use the plunger. So anyway, you could use wood glue. I like the instant adherence of the hot glue, so that's what I use for that. Now I'm just going to take some of my Waverly white chalk paint, and I get my chalk paint at Walmart, and it lasts quite a while for a lot of projects, although I am at the end of my container on this DIY video, so you guys are going to see me really dig my brush in there. But this chalk paint had really good coverage. I had to use only about 1.5 coats, and really 1.5, I used one really full coat, and then I just kind of went back in and touched up any spots that I felt like were not all the way covered with a little bit more. Now you guys could really get creative again with this step and customize the colors of your ladder to suit your fancy. I decorate with a lot of whites and shabby chics and different colors like that, and I wanted it to be really springtime and fresh, so I just chose a solid white. I was going to go back in and distress it, but I decided that I just wanted to keep it white. I didn't want to use like any kind of stains or waxes, because I'm going to use some of my favorite little pretty tea towels, and I don't want them to get like anything on them. So these little ladders are great to use on your kitchen, like underneath the little area where you might be able to hang a kitchen towel on them, or maybe do like a cute little kitchen banner. Really, so many ideas. So this just was popped right directly into my little cabinet or hutch here, and then you guys can see I displayed it with some of these beautiful little tea towels, and these tea towels actually did come from TJ Maxx. They were in a 4-pack, which I felt like was a really great deal, and I shared them with you guys 2 videos back in one of my hauls. I did a big spring Easter haul for you guys. And so here's how it looks, so springtime, blooming, fabulous, and such a fun and easy little DIY that you guys can do on a budget. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with you how to make a 2-tiered stand using 2 Dollar Tree burner covers, these little wooden beads, and a couple of candlesticks from Dollar Tree. So I'm just going to take these little wooden beads and I'm going to hot glue them and kind of space them evenly around the burner covers. And I'm just using regular hot glue for this because I felt like that was sufficient to keep the little wooden beads onto my burner cover, and they held fairly well. You could always add a dab of E6000 glue if you were concerned about them not holding. The next thing I want to do is I am going to use E6000 glue to glue these candlesticks together. So I'm going to take some E6000 glue, and then I'm also going to use just a little bit of hot glue, but I don't use the hot glue on top of the E6000. So I kind of left some little spots where I didn't add E6000 glue, and wherever I did not add the E6000 glue, that's where I'm adding the hot glue. So you can just see me kind of dabbing it on there. The reason I use both glues is because the E6000 glue is a bonding glue, but it does take a while to dry, and so the hot glue will help the bonding glue stay together so your candlestick won't wobble around. Sometimes the E6000 glue, if you only use that, it will have a tendency to kind of slide a little bit. But as
suit your fancy. This is how I felt like it would be best. So now I'm going to use E6000 glue again, and again I'm leaving spots for where the hot glue can go, and I'm going to use both of these glues to then hot glue my candlestick to the other side of my burner cover, the side that I didn't put the little legs on, because I want feet to kind of hold my burner cover up. And then this is where I'm going to make my stand. And then I'm going to repeat that process again here with the E6000 glue and the hot glue. Again, not putting the E6000 glue everywhere, but just leaving some spots where I could add some hot glue. So I hope that's making sense. But anyway, once you guys have these steps completed and your little project is together, I like to give it about 30 minutes to kind of just hold on there together, but the E6000 glue does take 24 hours to completely dry. Just a little side note there. The next thing I wanted to do was to take it outside and give it a quick little dusting of spray paint. And I love to use the Rust-Oleum 3X spray paint. It's about $3.97 at Walmart, but I feel like that's worth spending a little bit more over just the $1 spray paint, because it really gives you really good full coverage. I was able to do this in several other projects, and this did take 2 coats. So I flipped it over and I gave it a really generous spray paint on one side, and then I flipped it back over and spray painted the other side. That way the little spots underneath could be seen as well. And here's how it is popped into my little spring Easter setting. I think these are so fun to make. Now the burner covers are sturdy, but they're not like, you know, glass sturdy. So you might want to be careful like putting tons and tons of weight on it. I think it's fine, you know, display some pretty teacups and just some really beautiful little trinkets. But I think it's a fun, great idea on a budget. For the next DIY, I wanted to share with y'all how to make a beautiful Easter plate using a clear glass plate. You guys can find these at Dollar Tree or Walmart. And then you're going to take a beautiful napkin, and I'm choosing this napkin that I found at Walmart. It's by the Pioneer Woman line, and it's actually on an end cap. It's not in with their like regular Easter stuff. So I'm just cutting the size of the plate, and I use that little cup as my guide, and then I'm going to cut out my pretty little bunny. You guys could also use a bunny treat bag or whatever, you know, thing that you wanted to glue inside of your little plate. So I gave it a generous layer of Mod Podge, and then I'm going to go back over it with another layer of Mod Podge, and then I'm going to let that dry. I actually set it out in the sun and let it dry for about an hour or two before I started my next step. And I also wanted you guys to know that they do sell bunny napkins at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys another little idea for the bunny napkin from Dollar Tree. I also do like to go ahead and take a little towel and kind of wipe around the edge. Now here's the Happy Easter bunny napkin at Dollar Tree. This was as close to as I could find to like a little bunny, cute bunny. I don't know, Dollar Tree didn't put out like any of like the really pretty bunnies, but they put out a cute bunny. So I think these would be really festive. Like, I think these are adorable bunnies too. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut out the little bunny head here. This step is optional. I kind of feel like maybe once I looked back on it, I could have left the little teal part on, but I did go ahead and trim it all out. And then you're going to repeat the process with, like you did the first plate. You're going to Mod Podge, and I have my plate flipped over, so we're Mod Podging on the back of our plate, and it's going to show through to the front. Now, even though we're not Mod Podging on top of the plate, I still don't suggest to use these as a food safe plate. I don't feel like these are food safe. I feel like that you guys could display maybe some little Easter candies that are wrapped on these, but just because we're using glue and paint on them, you know, don't eat off of these. Okay. These are for decor purposes. So the next thing I did was add a good layer of Mod Podge again once my bunnies had dried. And then I'm just using this pretty little pink and white tissue paper. It's polka dot and it's so perfect for Easter. And also, I think that I did buy this tissue paper, I believe at Walmart. I think it's 98 cents for, you know, a whole packet full. I decided to make these kind of matching, so I'm adding Mod Podge again and then adding tissue paper to my little bunny. Now, you can see that These look really cute like they are, but you can see through them, so they're still transparent. And that's okay if you like that look, you can go for that. But a way to jazz them up and make the whole thing show up better is to take white paint once you have this process done and you've trimmed off your excess with scissors. You just take some white paint. Oh, let the tissue paper dry completely, but then take white paint and you just white paint around on the back of that, and then you're gonna let that dry. So really, these are super fun to make. They're just a little bit time consuming because of each step you need to let it dry in between the steps. But how adorable are these? They're so springtime fabulous and blooming. Popped into my little cabinet, and again, you guys could really use these just about anywhere. And remember, these are for decor purposes only. For the next DIY, I want to share with you all how to make a beautiful blooming springtime wreath. So for the first step, I'm going to take this little Dollar Tree welcome home sign and I'm going to zip tie it to this grapevine wreath. This grapevine wreath base I did buy at Hobby Lobby. It was $4.98. And the next thing I want to do is pop these pretty little Dollar Tree white blooming flowers into the top part. So I did hot glue the end of it, and that's going to keep it a little bit more secure down inside of this grapevine wreath. Now you don't have to necessarily hot glue your stems, but it will help them stay in a little bit better if you plan to put one of these kind of wreaths outside. I'm also adding in some of the purple Dollar Tree lilacs and also some beautiful spring pink colors. So on the top part of this, I'm adding a beautiful kind of bloomy bouquet out the top, and then I'm going to mimic and use the exact same flowers at the bottom so it looks really cohesive and looks like it's blooming. Again, I'm using hot glue to pop my flowers in, and all of the flowers did come from Dollar Tree, as well as a cute little sign also came from Dollar Tree. So I just love making these wreaths. They're so fun and beautiful and whimsical, and you guys can really get creative and customize this to match your home decor. So whatever colors you love for spring, whatever colors you find comforting and happy, I suggest that you guys use those. Okay, the next thing we want to do is make a cute little bow. So I'm going to take this ribbon and just loop it over on itself and then pinch it into the center. And this is going to be a super easy bow, and it's going to be really pretty and hopefully vibrant. And I'm just going to take a pipe cleaner and tie this first loop off in the center. So for each one of my loops, I am just going to make one loop. You can make a bigger bow if you want, but I'm going to use a lot of different kinds of ribbons. And so I did not find a whole lot of Easter ribbon at Dollar Tree. In fact, I'm almost out of my Easter ribbon, so I did have to pop into Michael's and Walmart and Hobby Lobby on the hunt for ribbon. And so this ribbon is from Michael's, and the other ribbon I believe is going to be from Walmart. Okay, so I am tying it off in the center. Again, I just made a little loop with my ribbon, tied it off in the center, and then I have just kind of some cute cascading tails. The next thing I want to use is some of this pretty yellow polka dot ribbon, and I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to tie a loop and then just add it into my little bow. So you're going to continue on with this process until you guys get as many bows and as many colors that you want for your blooming springtime wreath. So this one was some pink polka dot ribbon, and I got this at Walmart. Walmart actually had some pretty good ribbon as far as colors was concerned in their Easter section. So I'm just checking it on this wreath, and what I decided to do was to go ahead and cut some longer tails with some of the thinner ribbon and just use that to tie my bow onto my wreath. So it's going to serve a dual purpose. It's going to tie my bow on, so you can see I'm cutting the little tails, and then you can just secure your ribbon on like that. It's kind of a little hack I have for you guys. You could also, just use floral wire to tie your bow on, but it's also going to take this ribbon or this larger bow and cinch it up in the center and really get it held on there well. So it's not going to wobble around and flop around. Now, after you get everything tied on, the next step you're going to want to do is you can assess your wreath, see if you want to add a couple more flowers. I think I added some hot pink tulips and a couple of other pretty little Dollar Tree flowers. And now I'm just dovetailing my ends, which means I'm cutting a triangle in an upwards direction to give my wreath a really pretty boutique finish. And then I'm just taking my little ribbon and kind of curling the ends. And I did add in one more layer of ribbon to this to kind of pull some more of those blues in. But this one was definitely blooming and definitely springtime fabulous and really on a pretty good budget. So I think that this was a fun one. Again, especially if you use Dollar Tree florals or even some florals you might have in your stash. So here it is after I fluffed my bow and made everything all nice and fabulous. So as always, comment and let me know what was your favorite DIY in this video and which one will you be recreating. I really tried to inspire you guys in this video and hopefully give you some ideas from a beginner crafter level to a little bit more tricky on some of them. So hopefully it gives everybody some different crafts and projects they can think about or maybe even want to make for their own, or maybe you're just having fun watching this video. You love to watch crafts and get inspired. So I want to thank you guys for being here. It's such a true blessing and an honor. Don't forget to listen for that secret question too. I'm going to pop it into the video somewhere because I do have a $100 Hobby Lobby gift card giveaway that I'm sharing with you guys, and the winner will be announced next Saturday. And then the last thing I had to share with you guys is we took Benji Bear to the lake this weekend. Of course, it was way too cold to get in, but he got up to the water's edge and had a blast. He is so full of life and so full of how to make an amazing two-tiered Easter cake. So we're going to take some Dollar Tree foam board, and then I picked up this larger bucket from Walmart for 98 cents and then some of these little cups as well. And I'm just going to cut out some circles that are the size of the bottom of the foam board because I need the foam board to drop down into the little buckets to fill up this space, because we're going to be stacking these cakes and we don't want to use any more of our spackling than we have to. So once you have your little rounds cut, you're going to hot glue them into the bottom part of the foam board, and then you can just take your featherweight spackle, and it is by DAP. You can get it at Dollar Tree in a small container, or I usually just go to Home Depot and spend a couple of dollars more and get the larger one. And you're going to take one of your little Dollar Tree crafting putty knives and begin to putty on your frosting. So I'm using the little crafting knife and I'm just gently smoothing the frosting, and it does take some work. This is a little bit sped up so it wouldn't take so long, but you guys kind of get the drift. Just pretend like you're frosting a cake. You're just going to go back and forth until you get that little hole filled and you get enough frosting on there. The next thing I want to do is make a little foam board round, and this is what my cake is going to sit on top of. So I'm just going to take and hot glue the smaller round to the bottom of the cake, and then I'm going to take one of these little Dollar Tree doilies. This was in the Valentine's Day section, but they sell the round doilies as well. That actually would have worked better. I'm just trying to use what I already have on hand. So I'm cutting the doily to fit around the bottom part of my cake, and I'm basically just creating like a little cake bottom. So just continue to glue the little doilies around, or go to the Dollar Tree and get the doily rounds. They are like 32 to a pack for $1. Anyway, I thought it would also be really cute to do a pink one since this is going to be Easter and I'm using a lot of pastels. Now, once I have my little bottom of my cake round done, I'm just going to hot glue the cake to my little cake plate or cake round. Then I'm going to take some more of that spackling and I'm just going to frost around the bottom part of the cake. So I did get a little bit messy with this, but it is going to be somewhat covered up with some of those little Dollar Tree glitter balls. I'm kind of using those like you would use jelly beans. So again, this is an Easter cake and you can take some sprinkles. You can cut up some little foam sprinkles, or you can even order some if you don't feel like making your own. They have really cute sprinkles on Etsy, and just like pretty much anywhere. Amazon, you guys can get some little faux sprinkles. Now I'm going to take this little Dollar Tree Easter bunny, and it came in like a little foam pack, and I just used, you're going to use your dap to attach everything. So use a little bit of your spackling to attach your bunny, and then you can use some of the little Dollar Tree glitter vase fillers, these little balls, and to me they look like little jelly beans. So you can see I'm adding a tiny bit of the dap spackling to attach my little jelly beans, my little faux jelly beans or glitter balls. And then I did add even some more sprinkles in and around where it still kind of needed to be filled in. And I thought the cake looked really cute like this, but you can go an extra step and you can get some of the little Dollar Tree cake maker packets. So they actually have like a cake icing tip and bag, and you can put your spackling down inside of there and then just begin to kind of create frosting. I was really nervous doing this. I haven't done a cake in quite a while, and so bear with me on this, you guys. But you just squeeze your frosting out almost like you would be piping a real cake, and you kind of want to do like a little motion where it kind of like just guys kind of goes back and forth as you move your little cake round. And so here is how it turned out. Oh my goodness, I was so excited to create this because I have been drooling over all of the faux cakes that I'm seeing everybody have like in their really pretty fancy Easter displays, and I thought, gosh, I know that we can do this on a budget. And I really thought that those little Walmart plaid buckets would be so cute, and it also takes up so much less spackling. But you guys can always use any really gift box or anything, cover it with some spackling, and that can be a cake base as well. So I hope you guys are having fun with this, and get ready, hang on, we have quite a ride in this video, so many more DIYs to come. Now for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take one of those little plastic bunnies and I'm going to chalk paint it white, and you're going to want to let that dry. Then I'm going to take some of my featherweight dap spackling and I'm going to create a bunny cake. And this was so fun, and I've had this idea for a while to do. So I'm just using a little popsicle stick and I'm gently layering on the spackling, just kind of like a real thin layer almost, because with the white paint I didn't really have to goop like a whole ton on. And then I'm kind of giving it like a little back and forth motion to make it look like it's actual frosting. I then decided that I want it to be kind of like an ombre or mix in a little bit of pink to it. So I did get some pink paint and I dabbed that in. You can tell that I'm at the bottom of the barrel on my spackling. So anyway, use what you guys have and use it all. That's what I do. Okay, so I'm just going to take that little bit of pink paint that I mixed in there and kind of brush it on to my bunny to kind of make it look like a little bit of a pink rainbow bunny. I thought that would be super cute. I think Easter is the perfect time to really splurge on some fun pastel decor throughout your home. And then I kind of like tried to make the ears look like a little bit pinky as well. But again, just have fun with it. And this is really a really fun craft that you all can do with your kiddos and your grandkids, because there's really no hot glue involved, but it does get a little bit messy, so make sure you cover your workspace. The next thing I'm going to do is use my little craft tool, and you can get these at Walmart in a 3-pack, and I'm going to take some of that spackling and I'm going to add a little bit on one of those foam glitter balls. And so the glitter balls come in a big pack at Dollar Tree, and they say foam vase filler, but they're perfect for like Easter crafty. You guys can see I'm doing some awkward mom dancing. And then again, you guys can make your own sprinkles by just cutting up some little bitty tiny pieces of foam, or you can buy some on Etsy or Amazon, or You can also use little beads that Dollar Tree sells. I've used that before for sprinkles, or you guys can even cut up some little tiny pieces of paper. Now I like to put my sprinkles on when my spackling is wet, but if your spackling has dried, just a little tip, you guys can add some Mod Podge and then add your sprinkles. The next thing I want to do is take my little Dollar Tree cake set, and this is just like what you would actually use to put a cake on. And what you do is you put your spackling down inside of the bag and put your little piping tip on, and then you can just pipe like some pretty icing on. Now my icing piping skills are a little bit rusty. In fact, I've really only used an icing piping bag on fake cakes. So I do need a little bit of practice, but you just kind of use a forward and backward motion to try to give it like that little bit of a fluffy look. I also think I may pop into Walmart and get a nicer tip, because the Dollar Tree tips like don't have very, they're just not a great tip. So you really kind of have to work for it. But anyway, I also added some little felt bows to the top of her ears. And here is that fun and fabulous little Easter shaped cake. And then I did end up popping it onto some little fake grass in my little Easter display setting. Oh my goodness, we have so many more fun DIYs coming up, but I just thought this would be so cute, and again, a great one to do with kiddos or grandkids, or if you just love to kind of tinker around. This is a fun one to try. You really can't mess it up. Just be patient with yourself and give yourself grace. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to take 2 of these home signs and I'm going to flip them over and create a little Dollar Tree garden bench. The next thing I want to do is just gently take a crafting knife and pull those staples out. And then I did give it a coat of white spray paint. That wasn't covering very well, so I ended up using some chalk paint. Now I'm going to flip my home signs back over and I'm going to take some popsicle sticks and I'm going to measure to see, because I want to make a garden bench, but I'm going to use these 2 little pink waste baskets that you can get at Dollar Tree, or you can really use like any little garden pot or just anything that you can use that is going to stabilize your garden bench. So anyway, now I'm just going to take and hot glue my popsicle sticks to the back of my signs, because I need my sign to stay together. So I want to make it really secure here. So I used 3 popsicle sticks this way, and then I ended up like kind of diagonally using some popsicle sticks as well. Now, because I used the waste baskets for my base, it was really a really sturdy garden bench, which is what I was going for. I just felt like the waste baskets may have been a little bit chunky for legs, but if you kind of have some vines cascading over it, I think it would make up for that. So the next thing I want to do is take some E6000 glue and then also some hot glue, and your E6000 glue is going to be your permanent hold, and then you want to hot glue where you didn't put the E6000 glue down. And so then I'm just going to pop that on to the back of my little signs, and I'm going to do 1 on each side. And I did want to kind of like make sure that there was room on the garden bench. So I put them right in the center. That way nothing wobbles around. If you actually end up using it to put some plants on it, I probably will keep it in my crafting studio. And used like to put some little cute bunnies and some like little lanterns and some fun things like that on. Now I am going to just lightly chalk paint the back of it. Nobody's going to see underneath it, but just in case. And you guys can tell that I'm running out of my chalk paint, so I had to like kind of pop it on top of my little signs here. Anyway, give it a good layer of paint. I gave it 1 generous layer of chalk paint, and that was able to really get my little garden bench covered. I want to make it kind of like a shabby chic garden bench. So that's what I was going for with this, but you guys always can use whatever colors you love. Now I'm going to take 2 of the little Dollar Tree garden gates, and I'm going to zip tie them together. I have 1 left over from last season that was already painted white. And so I'm just going to paint the other one white as well, but you just want to zip tie each end and then also zip tie it in the center. Now once the garden gate was painted, I enlisted the help of Mr. Romantic, and he is going to help me attach it to the back of my little bench. So he took his drill and he just drilled several different holes in the back of the bench, and luckily it did not crack like the little plywood or whatever. It's not really made out, it's made out of like a particle board. Anyway, then he took some of my zip ties and he just pushed them through and then attached the little garden gate as well. And it's actually really sturdy on there. I was pretty surprised, but he did use about 5 to 6 little holes that he just drilled with his screwdriver. So pretty easy to do there. I don't usually work with the power tools a whole bunch, and I just thought it would be fun for you guys to say hi to him and to kind of have his help. So anyway, there he is helping me out with my little garden bench, and it ended up being so stinking cute. Oh, I also want to let you know that he waited and he pulled the zip ties closed, starting from the outside and working its way in. He said that way it didn't pucker. Anyway, so he has a little different method on some of his stuff that he does, but I thought it turned out absolutely perfect. And then I just popped some little cutie goodies on top of it with this little sign and a couple of little carrots. And then there's like a little garden idea, but you guys could really put real plants on this and then pop it next to a window. And then there's that cute little Dollar Tree bunny that we created, some candlesticks. So you guys could really get creative and use it for anything, any kind of little low shelf that you might need. My daughter's bed even like sits low to the ground, so she likes to use low shelves as well. For the next DIY, I want to share with you all how to create like a 2-tier, 3-tiered tray. And this is going to be next to my coffee station. So I just popped one of those little welcome peeps signs back behind my little 2-tiered tray, and that way you can't see the cord when I'm saying good morning to you guys with my good morning cup of coffee. And then at Target Dollar Spot, they had those little round wreaths, and I just popped that on top of my little 2-tiered tray. And then I have these cute little faux muffins. I'll link some in my Amazon store for you guys. I also get those little flickering flameless candles off of Amazon, and then I'm just popping in my cute little coffee mugs. A lot of you all ask me where I get my coffee mugs, and I find my coffee mugs either at TJ Maxx primarily or the thrift store. Those are the 2 places I hunt for coffee mugs, and lately I've even been having some of you all send me coffee mugs. So shout out to all the little friends out there that are spoiling me. And so you can see I'm just kind of playing around with this, popping those little faux muffins in there, and they're so nice to have. And then here are those prayer cards, and everybody asks me where I get my prayer cards. I get them at Dollar Tree. They're just a great way to start my morning. I read one every single morning as I'm making my coffee, and it just helps me with my day. And then this little garden bunny was $3, I believe, at the Target Dollar Spot. So there's some little fun goodies in here. Oh, and those little carrots were $1 at the Target Dollar Spot, and that was quite a steal in my opinion. So here's just a fun idea on how you guys can create kind of a little good morning setting for you in your kitchen. It is a little bit over decorated probably for a tiered tray, because I actually use it and pop my mugs in and out of it, but it just really makes me happy. Like when I wake up in the morning, I just love to see some pretty decor, some cute little prayer cards, and then have my cup of coffee, and then I share that with you guys every morning on my Instagram story. Now I have been using my Nespresso, and that was a gift from Mr. Romantic for Christmas. And also I wanted to let you all know that there are prayer cards available on Amazon. Those little prayer cards I just showed you. I'll try to link some in my Amazon store for you guys as well. And then a lot of you all ask me what kind of coffee I'm brewing in the morning. It's the Nespresso pods, and so they're compatible with the Nespresso machine. You can order those off Amazon as well. They're a little bit of a splurge, but they're way less than it would be if you're going to go to Starbucks for like a coffee out at the Starbucks store. They also sell the little Starbucks Nespressos at Target if you guys need to pick some up there. I think I will though go back to a drip coffee maker or a Keurig eventually, because an espresso is pretty strong, just an FYI. Now for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with y'all some super adorable ideas for making some little cake plates or cake stands or just little stands. These could be used for plants, but I'm just going to take one of those Dollar Tree wooden heart signs. This was left over from my Valentine's Day decor. And then I'm just going to take these little wooden beads. Dollar Tree sells wooden beads, but they're colored. So I did order this pack off of Amazon. It's a huge, ginormous pack. I'll link it in my Amazon store as well in my crafts section for you guys if you need a lot of beads. But I'm just going to hot glue these beads to the back of my little heart wooden plaque, and then I'm going to add one more bead on top of it just to give it a little bit of height. I wanted to have something to put my cute little cake plates on and all of that fun stuff. Now for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to create another little stand. This can be a cake stand, a plant stand, whatever suits your fancy. And this is just one of those large, oversized Dollar Tree Easter signs, and I had chalk painted it white. And then I'm taking these little wooden beads and I'm hot gluing them to the bottom of the egg. And I am going to do two little wooden bead layers. So I will tell you guys, when you're putting these wooden beads on, to just add a little bit of glue. You could even use wood glue and just let it dry. I do like the way hot glue though has like an instant result. But again, you also want to use Faux, and that will stabilize your little egg. And I just thought this was such a fun idea. I see like these little wooden stands, you know, at TJ Maxx and seasonal stands, and they're so expensive. So I thought this would be a great little fun dupe. So for the next DIY, I'm going to take some of the wooden little kind of smaller egg signs, and these actually come in the kids coloring pack, and they're a wooden sign at Dollar Tree, and then a little Dollar Tree candlestick, and I just hot glued that to the little egg, and that way I had a little cupcake stand. Now here I'm kind of playing with some ideas of popping my bunny cake, my faux bunny cake on, and then my little cupcake. And I decided to make another one because I knew I was going to make more faux treats and I would just need more of them to kind of give them height and dimension. Now I decided they looked a little bit plain, just all painted white, and so I decided to take some of this cute little, it's like a pastel colored paper. These are at Hobby Lobby for $1 or 4 for $1, just for these like kind of papery ones. But I'm cutting them out the size of the egg. And then for the life of me, I don't know how this happened, but I ran out of Mod Podge, you guys. So I'm just going to hot glue the paper onto the little egg, which isn't a big deal. I would have preferred it to be Mod Podged on there, but this way you don't really have any bubbles and you don't have the annoying drying time that you have with Mod Podge. Although it's not annoying, it's a blessing to be able to craft, but sometimes I get impatient if you guys, and let me know if you're there with me. Anyway, I'm going to do one more, and this paper is the polka dot paper from Hobby Lobby. Again, 4 for $1, pretty great little deal, and you guys can have fun just crafting it up. I like to pick up a couple of these papers for every season. So if it's Easter, I'll pick up some Easter colored paper. If it's Christmas, I'll pick up a little Christmas colored paper. That way you guys can make tags, or you can embellish them in this way. So there's the little egg polka dot one. And then I also even added some polka dot paper to my heart stand. So check out how cute and fun these little stands are. Listen, you guys, I went to TJ Maxx looking for little cupcake stands and cake stands, and they didn't have any. Now the one pink stand that I do have though is left over from last year, and that was from the Target dollar spot. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to share with you guys how to make some yummy, delicious fake cake chocolate cake slices. Okay, this is the first time I've ever made chocolate cake slices, so I am so excited to share this with you guys. You're going to take some foam. You can get it from the craft store, from Dollar Tree, and you just want to cut it into like a little wedge, like the size of a cake. So when you think about cutting a piece of cake, you just want to cut it into a cake size. And I did 2 that kind of look like a sitting wedge, and then 1 that looks like it's laying down. The next thing I wanted to do was take some of this brown paint. Another little tip I have for you guys is when you're crafting, if you can kind of bulk do some things, so you can tell I'm doing a chocolate bunny over here, which I'm going to show you guys in the next DIY. But once I have brown paint on my hands, I want to get as much brown painting done as I can, because golly, you guys, I made a super big mess with this chocolate. We can pretend like it's chocolate, can't we? It's fat free. course, we don't want to eat this. Now, these would be fun to do with kiddos or grandkids, but you may want to have them wear some gloves because it does make quite a bit of mess, and make sure you lay something down with it. Also, the other thing is that I did notice that the foam absorbs paint. So you're going to need to use quite a bit of paint on this, which just make sure you have a lot of brown paint. So this was a pretty big tube, and I don't really use this brown paint very often, so it wasn't a big deal. But I went to town painting all of the sides of my little piece of styrofoam here. Now, maybe you don't have a ton of brown paint, but you want to do a white piece of cake, a brown piece of cake, a pink piece of cake. You could do purple cake, whatever color you love. You guys go for it. Get out your paints, get out your paintbrush, and have fun. Just have a blast. I had so much fun making these faux treats. It was so therapeutic for me. And maybe it was a good thing I was out of Mod Podge, because it forced me to kind of get out of my comfort zone and make some faux treats and just do some different things. So sometimes that's another thing you guys can do, is kind of look around your craft stash, and maybe you don't have one thing or two things, but you have something else that you've kind of put on the back burner. You can whip out and just pump some fun music and just have fun crafting and decorating. So once I had got this completely covered, I got a little impatient, I will tell you guys. You probably want to let your paint dry. I gave my paint about an hour to dry, and it wasn't even dry in an hour's time. So, but I did glob on quite a bit. I'm kind of a paint globber when it comes to painting things. I'm also a messy painter, as you guys can tell as well. So the next thing I wanted to do was take some of the Dollar Tree caulk, and this is actually in the automotive section. And this, I'm going to make a pretty little, it's going to look like faux frosting here. So I just made a line down the center of my fake cake, and then I'm making kind of like some little loop-de-loops. I didn't feel like those looked awesome, so I decided to make some little, to turn my loop-de-loos into some swirly swirls. So I'm taking my little Dollar Tree caulk, and I'm just kind of swirling it around, and look, it just looks delicious. It looks like it's like meant to be, even though it was a happy little accident. So anyway, I'm doing my loop-de-loos again, and then kind of doing some swirly doodads, and it really ended up looking to me like it was meant to happen. So then I had to brush my tip off to get my white line down the other center part. And so then that is going to make a fun little cake. Now I'm going to take it an extra step further. From the Dollar Tree, I grabbed an icing piping cake bag. Okay, there's no icing in here though. This is again that that spackling. You can get it at Dollar Tree, but again, I get my spackling at the home improvement store, Home Depot. Okay, the other thing is you want to use featherweight spackling, and the DAT brand for me has been the best. It's about $6 for a tub of it. Now, check this out. How adorable does this look? By now, I've done so much cake piping. I've really started having fun with it, and I'm less nervous to do it. At first, I was really nervous to play with this, mainly because I didn't want to mess it up, but you guys really can't mess this up, honestly. And if you do, you can just scrape it off and give it a whirl again. And now I'm going to do my laying down cake slice, and I'm doing it in kind of the same fashion with the little swirly doodad days and the little pretty icing. So have fun with it, get creative, take a deep breath, don't be too hard on yourself, and go for it. And here is how they all turned out. So fun and fabulous, and looking as if they were fresh from the bakery, you guys. Oh my goodness, I'm telling you. Now, I did add a little doobly dad to the center, like a little whipped cream topping, and I think over the weekend I might make some fake cherries. So I might paint some of those little glitter foam vase fillers and make them into cherries, and then add like some glossy Mod Podge. I'm going to see if that works. Otherwise, I may just cheat and grab some cherries from the craft store if they have them, like maybe some little mini cherries. I might look for them on Amazon too. I thought that'd be fun to add into some of my treats. But here is an overview of how the chocolate treats looked in with the Easter treats, which I thought it was kind of like a fun way to mix and match those. I'm not sure what kind of little Easter goodies I should add to those. Okay, so for the next Dollar Tree DIY, this is another amazing one that I have to show you guys. This is one of those little Dollar Tree Easter plastic goodies, and I just chalk painted it white. The chalk paint is going to give my regular paint a really good surface to adhere to. And it really did, you guys. I only had to use one layer of chalk paint and then one layer of my brown paint. And the brown paint had a bit of a gloss to it, but if you guys don't have brown glossy paint, you guys could always just use some glossy Mod Podge over some regular acrylic paint. But you want to paint it in a chocolate color, so you can make any color chocolate bunny you want. But I'm going for the delicious milk chocolate bunny. Yum, yum, yum. And of course, again, this is not edible. It's a fake treat, but it's still fun to have popped into my little display. So again, I'm having fun with this and getting creative and just adding tons and tons of paint to really get a good, nice layer. Now, I did go in and do the front and the back. So these bunnies come together and they're yellow originally. And I will tell you that I got a little bit of paint like in the cracks of one side of my bunny, so it didn't go together quite as nicely as I wanted it to. So just be careful if you guys do plan to put them back together. You may want to kind of scrape the little edge if it has paint on it, but not a big deal. You could always give them a little hot glue or E6000 on there as well. But have fun with your bunny. You could probably even get really creative and do some detailed eyes and nose if you wanted to. I just wanted mine to look like solid milk chocolate, and I was totally down for that. And it's making me so hungry for chocolate. Comment and let me know if you guys are getting hungry for some treats. And I am going to share with you guys a treat in this video at the end of the video, but it's going to be a healthy treat because I'm trying to really get healthy. Now that my little chocolate bunny has all dried, I'm going to take this cute little pink ribbon and tie it around his neck. And that's also going to kind of help hold him together. So I've taken and I've, pushed the two plastic pieces back together, and I'm going to kind of cinch it up, and that way my chocolate bunny will help together. And I'm just going to do a quick and easy little bow. This is just like a little shoelace bow, like you would be tying your shoes. I'm going to knot it at the neck and then kind of gently pull it over. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with you guys a fun little hack on how to take some of those little garden flags from Dollar Tree and the little garden stake, and you can pull the little top part of the flag out. It comes with like a plastic piece in it that I guess is just made for hanging, but I'm going to pull that plastic piece out so I can put it onto this little garden flag stand that they sell at Dollar Tree, and that way I have a cute little garden flag. And this is a super easy DIY, you guys. I don't even know that it really should be a DIY, except for maybe some of you guys don't know about this, and I just thought it would be a fun way to jazz up my front little yard without breaking the bank. And it's great for spring. Now, the next thing I want to share with you guys is you can take a wooden dowel or like a little thin shish kebab, or you can just take that piece of plastic, which is what I did, that was in the top, and run it down through the bottom to try to give it a little bit more stability, although mine is definitely whipping around in the wind. We live on the top of a hill, and so our hill catches so much wind. So the minute I put it out there, we're getting some rain soon. So there you guys have that. Check this out. Bloom where you're planted. This little flag is from Dollar Tree. And then again, so is the little garden stake. I also thought it would be fun to share with you guys these cute little Dollar Tree tulips, and they're like little wind milled tulips where they catch the wind and they spin around. Comment down below. I cannot think of what the correct word is for it. I know is it a windmill? Anyway, they're little tulips that spin around, and they caught my eye. I don't know. I think they're just so adorable. I think kiddos or grandkids would love this, and honestly, I got a super big kick out of waiting to see when they would catch the wind, and here they are. I was so hoping to get that on camera for you guys, but how stinking cute is that? Now, this is an empty planter bed. I think I'm going to pop into Walmart Walmart this weekend and see if I can't find some plants. And I also have to share with you guys that my jonquils or daylilies are getting ready to pop out. In fact, they should be popping out tomorrow, and I can't wait to share when they bloom in my front yard. Now for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I have to share with you guys another fun little fake cake bake, and this is just with one of those little Dollar Tree cups. They have the most super adorable cups out at Dollar Tree. You guys are going to have to grab a pack if you see them. They're in the spring fling section of my store, but I'm just going to take some of this featherweight DAP spackling, and I added some little foam into the top of the cup, and that way I didn't have to use so much spackling. But you can just cut out like a little round of that little Dollar Tree foam board and pop that into the top. You guys can also use an empty ribbon roll cardboard container and just hot glue that to the top as well. Whatever floats your boat, whatever you guys have on hand. Now I'm taking my little Dollar Tree crafting tool, and I'm just using that to kind of make the spackling look a little bit more realistic. We are going to pop some things on top of this, so it doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to decorate the top of it most likely, so just take a deep breath and have fun with your fake cake baking. And again, I really think that this is a fun one to do with kiddos and grandkids. I did this with my daughter years ago, and she thinks they're fun to look at now, but I don't think she's as interested anymore crafting with mom, but that's okay. She still does pop into my crafting studio. Okay, so now I'm just going to take this little bunny rabbit, and I used some DAP spackling again to pop my bunny rabbit on, and then I'm just using some of that Dollar Tree vase filler. It's this little tiny pieces from the vase filler, and I'm using the spackling to adhere the little vase filler foam balls because I really felt like they looked like jelly beans. So I mean, this project is so inexpensive and so fun, and you guys can get so creative with this. You can do all kinds of colors, you can add some sprinkles, and to make sprinkles, you can use little tiny hair ties, and you can just cut those up, or like the little hair rubber bands. The other thing you can do is you can take foam, and you can cut foam into little bitty tiny pieces as well, or you can order some off of Etsy or Amazon to make really fun little sprinkles. Okay, so now I am going to take some featherweight spackling again, and I'm just going to rim the bottom of this. I didn't think it looked super bad with a cardboard bottom, but I do want to make it look a little bit more realistic, so I'm adding some of the spackling as well. Now it's down to the very bottom, very bottom of this, so I did end up having to go to Home Depot and grab some more spackling while my daughter was at dance. I popped in there. Now I'm going to use one of those little Dollar Tree this is just a cake decorating kit. I left that out so you guys could see what that looks like. It's in the kitchen section, and I put the spackling into my piping bag, and I'm just going to pipe it. And this was actually one of the first ones I did, and I was super nervous to do this. I haven't done it in forever, and so I felt like my decorating needs a little bit of work, but and I also got impatient and like moved my cakes around a little bit, and so there's some spots on them that like you can tell that the spackling kind of got moved around. So I will give you guys a tip to try to be patient, and whatever you're going to have your cake on top of, you probably want to just like leave it on top of wax paper, and that way you don't have to move it around, but let it dry. It needs to dry for 24 hours. So that's just a little tip. Okay, so for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with you guys how to make a super adorable little egg cupcake. So this, I'm going to take one of the little Dollar Tree foam eggs and a little cupcake liner, and I'm just going to take the spackling and I'm going to cover the whole egg in the spackling. Now you're going to get messy with your hands on this one, but this is another fun one you guys can do with all ages. Just make sure that nobody's tasting the spackling, because it is just something that you're going to use like as putty to patch your wall or whatnot. So this is not edible. This is just for fake bake treats. Okay, so I'm taking my little spatula again, and I'm running all the spackling all the way around it till I get almost all the way to the bottom. And then to adhere my little egg, I'm just going to put a generous layer inside of my little cupcake. And you guys can tell it gets a little bit slimy and sloppy, and I think now looking back on it, I should have left the egg on its little stake. So this is one of those Dollar Tree foam eggs, and they come actually already on a stake. And I should have left it on its little kebab. So you guys can learn from my mistake there. Anyway, I'm popping in a bunch of spackling to the bottom of my cupcake liner and then finishing up with my cupcake. And you guys can tell my hands are messy, messy, messy. I'm popping that in there. And then I just took the cupcake liner and kind of formed it around the egg to kind of give it a little bit more cupcakey shape, or to just make it look like a cupcake egg, I guess. Anyway, you guys, just have fun with it. This was kind of like a trial one. I'm using this little pink glitter ball vase filler on top, and then I'm just going to add in some sprinkles. And again, you guys can use fake sprinkles, or for this one I did use some real sprinkles. Now let me tell you, if you guys have ants or anything like that, you probably don't want to use real sprinkles, but I was just getting creative and having fun crafting it up. But you guys can cut little tiny rubber bands to make sprinkles, or you can cut up some like little bitty foam pieces, or even use some little beads. I've done that before. Okay, so I added in it into another cupcake liner, and that made it look a little bit.
Thank you all so much for joining me on another fun and fabulous crafty decor adventure. It is a true blessing and honor to have you all here. If you all are new, welcome. I'm Olivia with Olivia's Romantic Home. I love to share with you guys how you can make your home's boutique gorgeous on a budget, and I truly believe that y'all don't have to make the big to have a fabulous, amazing home. Now, for wherever you guys are at in your life journey, I just want to encourage you guys to keep going, keep putting one foot in front of the other. Every day is a new day, and you guys might be struggling with something like I am. I have mobility issues currently. I broke my ankle falling off a ladder, hanging at my freshly washed curtains. It's going to be quite a recovery process because I broke the talus bone in my foot ankle thing. So anyway, try not to get frustrated if you're having some kind of episode in life. Goodness gracious. Keep reading your Bible study every morning, your prayer cards, keep having faith, keep loving on those close to you, and just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Or if you're like me, you keep putting one scoot in front of the other. I have a little scoot. Let me show you guys. It's kind of funny. So I need like a little bike horn. Anyway, it's a knee rover, and I actually ordered it on Amazon. So very nice to have, especially if you guys are recovering from some type of leg, foot, ankle surgery, or you just have some mobility issues and you're on one leg, which I'm actually kind of worried about the other ankle. It's starting to get a little fragile. Anyway, hopefully by the next couple of weeks or months, I will be up and walking again. So thank you guys again for being here, for your patience with me. Give yourself grace and keep going. You know, life is going to throw us curveballs, but we just have to keep going. Yes. So I'm hugging all of your hearts so tight. Now remember, you are on a social media platform, and I'm bringing awareness to being kind online. I think it's super important, especially in this day and age. I know my children have social media accounts. I have social media accounts, and I always notice like when people are kind and encouraging. So if you're on your Facebook page, Instagram or whatnot, and you see a friend or family member post a cute picture of their husband or their grandkid or their house or their dog, give that little post a heart and a like and say something sweet. You don't ever know how you're going to bless somebody's day, and you don't know when somebody posts something what they're going through. If it's something negative that you don't like, just keep scrolling. You don't have to leave a negative comment. You know, you can hide political stuff and different things like that. So anyway, but I love y'all. I'm wishing you a gorgeous, fabulous, blessed day. Live, enjoy, give yourself grace. And until our next video, remember, be kind to yourselves, be kind to one another, and we'll talk to you guys very soon. Bye.